Hello everyone. Welcome back to the stream. Today, we're back on the Mon Ultimate, and we're here for the first round of, hopefully, an 8-round, year-long series. We're here with SROL's World Endurance Championship, mimicking or mirroring the real-life championship that starts this weekend at Imola. Of course, we are also at Imola. Welcome along. Qualifying is just about to get started fairly shortly. I'm actually going to increase to 8 laps. Because why not? Oh no, I think 8 laps might actually be a bit too optimistic. Yes, we are in the series. We are in the Genesis, so we are. Of course, newly released with the 1.3 update as a little surprise ahead of the new season. Nice to have. Nice that we can use it for the series. It is quite a nice car. Of course, we used it at the Silverstone social race that Bailey did. 30-minute race with all the classes. That was good fun. And the car felt very good there. So I thought, you know what? Let's use it for the full season. Now, we do want to get out here as soon as possible because we are right at the start of pit lane. So, you know, we've got a good bit of pit lane to travel down here for our out lap. I also want to try and get some tire temperature in. And we're like halfway down pit lane and the light goes green, and, you know, we barely wasted any time getting out of the garage. But yes, as we head out here for qualifying, it's a 10-minute qualifying session, not a very long qualifying session. Car moving about on these cold tyres. That's why we held the brakes down pit lane. Just try and get any bit of temperature. Because, oh boy, these tyres, on the out lap, they are something. There's very little grip. These cars with a lot of power, bit of weight to them. They move around on the cold tyre. So, interested to see how this series goes. The field of drivers, if you don't know, SRL have their own driver gradings, similar to sort of real life. You have platinum, gold, silver, and bronze. I am classified as a gold driver, but there are 11 gold drivers in total in the hypercar class, so it's quite a competitive field. It is fixed setup. You know, so there's no setup shenanigans going on. It is simply down to sort of the cars, how well they're bought, which of course we have no control over, and how good their default setups are, and us as drivers, of course. Which will hopefully make it quite interesting as we start our first flying lap. But the tyre's still cold. We want the tyres up above 70 degrees. Is where we want them. Until then, they are not at, certainly not peak performance or optimal performance. Given we're at just over 40 degrees, we are quite far off that at the moment. You know, so these early laps, very much banker laps, if even you could call them banker laps. They're really just laps of, yeah, continue building the tyre up, building temperature into, don't throw the car off. In the bottom left, you'll notice 6 new tyres. We're limited to 10 tyres for the entire, for qualifying and the race. It's a 90-minute race, but default tyre wear and fuel usage means there'll be an easy one-stop. No tyre warmers, no tyre change for anyone, I would say. I'll be trying to get through the race on a single set. But it does mean that if you go off at any point, you know, especially in like qualifying, you know, you're putting yourself in a little bit more of a difficult situation as to what you do. First times coming in then on the cold tires, these will be very varied depending on how hard people have pushed on the cold tires, how comfortable they felt on the cold tires as well. Now we're sort of at the temperature range of how we'll be attacking lap 1. And now we're sort of getting to the setting banker lap ranges. I would say this lap and the next lap will be 2 banker laps. And then we're going full push. You'll notice in the bottom left, the rear tires, they're hotter, but they're also wearing quicker than the fronts. I done sort of a, yeah, it was about a practice stint. I don't think I quite got to the end of it, but I got most of the way through, and the car balance still felt good throughout the entirety of the stint. So I'm not too worried about that. So I'll say this will be our final banker lap, and then we'll sort of be going for our qualifying laps. Seen some sub 31s in the practice session. I haven't done any qualifying practice, so I don't know where my qualifying pace is going to be, but it's low 32s when it came to race practice. So of course we'll be hoping to get into the 31s. Just not brave enough. Carrying too much speed, not enough brake pressure. Just sort of scared of locking up. Or spinning the car. I had a little moment in practice. The car just oddly locked up and immediately lost grip. Just started sliding and ended up spinning into the wall at Aqua Minerale. Sort of has killed my confidence a little bit. I don't think it was as much of a driver error as much as just like a little blip in the game's simulation. Like, it just held for a frame or two. And that sort of just delay in simulation caused the car to lose grip, lose traction. Not a very good Paratel, I don't think. So 2.1 seconds up. This will guess a low mid 31. Puts us up into P6 for now. Well, I'll jump over the curb. That wasn't a good line. Welcome, Eddie. Thank you for the well wishes. Much better, Perotella. Didn't carry speed through the second apex of Variant Delta there. Couple of corners to go. Well, a little bit of a slip from the rear wheels coming off Ravazza 2. We're just about going to get another lap here. Up to P5. Car didn't grip up as much into Perotella that time. A little bit wide there on exit. Carried the speed through, but a little bit wide on exit. Better exit out for Vatsa 2. Will it be enough to take P4? Bailey, I think, is also on a lap behind us. We'll take P4 and Bailey's into the pits. So that is a second row starting position. I was not expecting that, to be honest. Oh, close one too. We're only 7 thousandths from P3. It's Genesis, Peugeot, Genesis, Cadillac, the top 5. So the Peugeots and Genesis looking good here.
Teams and drivers go to the grid for a race start.
We'll put on our new set of tyres and fill fuel. So, Pitman, you want to turn this down to 86, let's say. Make sure motor map's 100. Turn headlights on. Yeah, the first chicane is always a tricky one, so to be this far up is certainly a good place to be. Also a little bit nervous being this far up. Yeah, it's having a good qualifying session feels like it puts a bit of pressure on in the race because, like, oh, you know, you want the race to go well then as well.
Formation lap has started.
Tracking the brakes just to get brake temp in, keep the tires warm. It's a tricky braking point for the Tamburello chicane on lap 1. Let's hope it's clean.
Green flag, green flag.
Hold on to P4. Best space just to take it easy here. Bailey's under quite a bit of pressure. Brief yellow flag, obviously for something further back. That's a messy chicane. Haven't quite stuck to the Peugeots in front, but it's been a clean start. A little bit of a gap behind. Still not doing too great through the Alto chicane there. That's really poor exit, just on the curb. Clean exit for Vatsa too, which is important. This has sort of been a good recovery lap. I'm still messing up the chicane. Just took too much curb on the second apex. Got the car out of shape. My question is, can I go chase Bailey down? Bailey might also be fuel saving. He's the kind of driver to do that. He is fuel saving a bit. You can see in the top left. He was one of the last people to take from 85 to 84. With me and Bailey catching a little bit of a lock up there into the first chicane. Bailey deep into Aqua Minerale. Yeah, Variant Delta is definitely my weakest corner of the track. And there's the GT3 traffic. Oh, what is going on up here? Thank you, McLaren. Check your Mers Mustang. That was very nice of the Mustang. Luckily, no damage. That's dropped us now to P7. Might be the best run I've had through Tamburello this entire race. Battery's a nice level. And I don't think there's much for us to do at this stage, other than try and catch the Lambo in front and get into P6. Following the Lambo a little bit wide out of the Villeneuve chicane. As I was saying in the qualifying session, there's a lot of good drivers in this field. That time we lost through the gravel. We're not just going to magically get that back. That time's gone. Lambo in front has saved a little bit of VE. People saying personal bests at the moment too, as the car gets slighter. Burning fuel. I'm not quite finding the same pace at the moment. Now we're about to get back into the GT3 traffic. Thank you, Aston. Just about close enough to dive bomb the McLaren there. I was really on the edge. That's one of those little freezes there. Porsche GT3 has had strife. Yeah, unfortunately lost a lot of time to Lambo that lap. As the Alpine off at Aquaman Rally now promotes us back up to P6. Look at the train of GT3s in front. One spun off there on the exit of Ravazza too. And the Alpine's behind us, putting pressure on. Alpine was very good there into Acqua Minerale. Got a good exit over Vatsa too, which has kept us safe into the Tamburello chicane. The car just sort of sliding there. The Alpine running into gravel with a couple of wheels. They seem to be strong in this middle sector last lap. We're also catching back up to Lambo in front. Five GT3 cars to pass on this second time of lapping the field. Oh, this isn't great timing. Luckily, the Alpine not close enough to take advantage. Runs wide into the gravel again. GT3s have been very considerate along that start-finish straight. Very respectful, and I really appreciate it. Just holding off the Alpine for now. I think they have a little bit more pace than I do. Turned in too early there. That gives the Alpine the run. I probably should have just lifted out that one rather than sort of taking my normal braking point. Oh well. Half an hour into the race. Just under 1 hour to go. Alpine gets a tremendous launch out of Aqua Minerale there. Someone's been off in the gravel. Just turning the fuel ratio up a little bit. Because just thinking, we're probably going to run the rest of the race at 40 kilowatts of the deployment map. But we ran the first portion of the race at 50. Coming up to Lapa Hypercar soon. As well as more GT3s. Very busy pack there. Let's not. Nearly got caught out by how slow that mark was into the chicane. I don't like how the McLaren stayed to the right-hand side there, because it just kind of made me think, oh, they're going to fall to the middle of the track over the crest, where the track just kinks to the right. So how much room do I leave them? The more room I leave them, the more I compromise my own line into Paratella there. Alpine's already in front of the Lambo. Oh, coming up to lap the other Ferrari. With how the entry list has been created for this series. There's only 2 of each car. So the fact that we've lapped 2 Ferraris already means we've lapped the all the Ferrari hypercars. They're sitting 15th and 16th. I think our goal should be to try and catch and pass the Lambo in front. Although they currently have an extra lap of VE over us. Just going to save them a little bit of time in the pit stop. Porsche behind is also on a charge. That's the Alpine that was off in the gravel here between Ravazza 1 and 2. They've fallen back behind the Lambo. I mean, hopefully if those two fight a little bit, you know, it'll maybe allow us to drag ourselves closer to the Lambo. And Alpine's already back in front. this I think will likely be a 58 lap race. But there is a chance it's a 59 lap race. We go 5 more laps. We'll be pitting at the end of lap 32. That means we need 27 laps. Oh, quite a bit of traffic here now. Because now the GT3s are starting to lap each other. Holy hell. That was not fun. I'm pretty sure that BMW braked as if I was going to dive bomb them into Aqua Minerale, but it's just too risky. And then it nearly caused another incident because as I sort of went to fall in behind them, they were brake checking me. You know, and then the car behind me nearly went into the back of me. Another little freeze moment there. Right, that's the leader of GT3. Oh, Lambo's had an incident. That was awkward. Oh, that wasn't a great exit. Think I got on the part where the traction control sort of start kicking in. Have to pay at the end of next lap. Oh, did I speed there? Did I not hold the brakes quite long enough? A4%, that should take us to the end. You know, sort of pit stop and outlap are crucial if we want to stay in front of the Lambo. Might not stay in front at all if, you know, depending on how much shorter its pit stop is. Porsche's short-filled the lap. Okay, we're good. No GT3 traffic. The only thing, of course, is the Lambo will be doing their in-lap on an empty tank of fuel. We've got 70 litres in. Lambo's gone for 2 laps extra. I've got one of the Peugeots just in front of us. That's a surprise. Oh, looks like a lot of GT3 traffic in front. Don't know if we scared the BMW into going deep. There's a lap car. I think it's the Lambo just in front. It is. What the hell just happened there? I didn't even process what happened there. I very easily could have been collected in that crash because I was not paying attention to it, in all honesty. Lambo will probably have to fuel save a little bit. Maybe. Getting good opportunities at the moment to fuel save behind the GT3s, but it doesn't mean anything now that we've made the pit stop. You know, it's just going to be excess fuel we have at the end of the race. Whereas in the first half of the race, it's like, oh right, that can shorten our pit stop by a second. you know, maybe be the crucial difference between, you know, coming out in front or behind someone. Corvette's doing very well in the GT3 class. They're 1 and 2. Little slight hint of a lock in Taco Minerale. Mercedes off in the barrier. Tarmac's telling a story in the braking zone. Who knows if they did it themselves? They're on a night lap, so it might have been cold tires. That Porsche just not looking in the mirrors. So it made it seem like they were gonna leave the space there on the left, but we're just starting to close it down. Lambo get held up behind the Mustang here. Round the outside at Tosa, that was a brilliant move. Though we know that Lambo is not slow. But still, we seem to have a good run through Vatsa too. That sort of protects us on the run to the first chicane. Good to know that the advertising board has been knocked over. I can tell you now that Lamborghini is going to keep us honest for the rest of this race. We are catching up to the Peugeot. In front. The Alpine has had a really bad run. They've been held up and they've now lost out. Could be a four-way battle 4P4. Deep into the chicane. Big wiggle for the Lambo. We're going to hit traffic in the first chicane. If this is a 58 lap race, which it's looking like at the moment, the Lambo is good on fuel. If this race was to go to 59 laps, I think they're a little under. Oh, I just snatched the rear brake. Go car, please. I nearly beached the car there. I got scared. This is just being a really awkward point to try and get back onto the track safely from. Oh, that must have been the smallest of rear locks. Oh, that's so annoying. Got front bumper damage now. I mean, kind of deserved for the rejoin. Oh, the rear tires are over 100 degrees. That's nice. It's just going to be like that for the rest of the race now. Maybe I can get this BMW back, but BMW had a slight lock there into the first chicane. Nice duck behind a Mercedes for a little bit. Still go over 20 minutes of the race to go. Which I don't know whether to be happy about as a chance to catch this BMW, or we'd rather the race was ending in 23 seconds. Battery's been almost drained. I don't know if that was just the recovering from the 2 spins. Oh, BMW's not timed that well at all. Mark, GT3 Mark having difficulties. Thought I'd be going for a move on the BMW. Maybe last lap I would have, but felt like it'd be a reckless move. 15 minutes to go. It's going to be difficult to make a move on the BMW. I think we're slightly quicker. Whether it's enough pace difference to make a move, I'm not so sure. Might need some GT3 luck. Traction controls feel so restrictive out of Tosa. But then I feel like if I turned it down, I'd just go for a spin out of something like Aqua Minerale or Vatsa 2, where the car feels like it's on the limit. Oh, slight lock for the rears, trying to slow down. BMW got held up by the GT3. I'm going to get held up by the GT3. Yeah, that's very poor. Just not reading the situation very well at all. Alpine's back down to 7th place. Rear end starting to slide there. While the temperatures have come back down, the tyres are just worn. Just about close enough to that Mustang. The rear had a lot of rotation there on the exit. That was not good. That's just running too hot into Aqua Minerale. Just over 10 minutes left in the race. Aw, no, you're kidding me. Just as I go on the brake, the rear is just a little too much for the rear. Uh, 51 seconds of damage repair. Yeah, so we're going to fall down to 13th. Uh, Well, at least finish the race, but yeah, disappointing end. I mean, it was a bit disappointing, you could say, from the moment we had with the Mustang early on. Continued to fight despite it. Then that rear lock moment, was starting to look like, oh, hang on, might still get, good result, might sort of claw something back. I mean, we got away. It could have been much worse, that contact with the Mustang. We were still in a good fight. Yeah, that rear lock. And just the struggle of trying to get back on the track. Trying to get out of that gravel trap. Five and a half minutes to go. Maybe could have stuck on a couple of tires and gone for fastest lap. Couple of new tires, couple of quality used tires. We'd take a while to get up to temperature. We'd be looking at doing the fastest lap on the final lap of the race. Could have had a go. See how bumpy that gravel is. That McLaren just not making it clear which side of the track they're going to be on. They weren't opening the gap on the left quick enough, and then when it went to the right, they started to go towards the right. Oh, come on. Yeah, that rear left is just kind of dead. Yeah, I just have to be really careful loading up the left-hand side of the car. You just noticed the point at which the McLaren realized, oh, hang on, a hypercar's coming. I should open up a little bit of a gap. So this will be the final lap of the race. Yeah, just no trust in the rear left. Started to slide and it's like, yeah, I think it's gone. Leaders finished the race. In the other Genesis, it's despite starting on the front row, will come through to finish in P13. Yeah, disappointing race. Yeah, I mean, the Mustang, of course, is always going to be a bit risky, but I don't think we ever really got to the proper risky part of, the mid and exit of the corner. The Mustang getting in, making contact with us on the entry. Yeah, Seth's back. I think we were doing well from that point until we just had that rear lock. I'm not sure exactly what happened with the rear lock. Whether I just... It's probably just holding the brake pressure ever so slightly too much into the braking zone. And then, yeah, trying to recover. I think that just sort of ruined the rear left tire. And from then, I was pushing to try and catch the BMW, but the tire wasn't in a place to be pushed. It needed to be taken care of, and, well, I wasn't doing that. So... it could be one very slight mistake in a braking zone and it's caused all that trouble towards the end of the race. Fast lap was a 30.9. Yeah, even with new tires, I don't think I would have done that. I would have beat that. Especially with the limited time that was left in the race. Yeah, that's a shame. It was looking good for most of the race. But yeah. Not much more can do about that now. Now is the race done. Yeah, the next round will not be next week. It will be in a couple of weeks' time. I should go find out when. It's obviously based on when the next WEC race is. Of course, there's Imola this weekend. It'll be the 6th of May. So, what is that? 3 weeks' time, I believe that is. Yes, 3 weeks' time till the next race. It'll be another 90-minute race at Spa. Hopefully your pace is just as good or at a similar level, and we can sort of be towards that front group. And yeah, hopefully can have a little bit of a cleaner race. Spa, not an easy track though. Another one that can be easy to make mistakes on. But yeah, I mean, we a little while ago now, we had a really good race at Spa. It was a 100-minute race that SROL did, that Bailey hosted, and we had a really good battle with Bailey throughout that race. Yeah, that's a really fun race. We were in the Porsche back then. Yeah, fantastically fun race that was. So yeah, hopefully we can have a fun race next time. Hopefully it doesn't kind of go to crap, as a few races have recently. But yeah, but before then, we have a new LMU series starting next Thursday. So sort of a little week break. Nothing between now and next Thursday. So nice little break, but then we have start of EU versus US Championship. 2 hypercars, the Cadillac representing the US that will be driving, the Porsche representing EU, and in GT3 it's the Mustang representing the US and the Mercedes representing the EU. So two similar cars in each of the two classes, hypercars and GT3s. Should be an interesting series. Curious to see how that goes. Where, of course, in the Cadillac, a little bit different, but somewhat similar to the Genesis, both LMDH cars. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that goes next Thursday. That is the 23rd. But yeah, until then, thank you, Eddie, for dropping by and chatting a bit. Thank you to those that were lurking too throughout the stream and or have watched the VOD back. Hope you enjoyed. I'll be back in just over a week, but until then, have a good rest of your week, have a good weekend, and a good start to your next week. Until then, take care. Thanks for watching, and bye bye.